Hello, English learners. Welcome to LifeTalk English. I'm Nico.
And I'm Elisa.
Today, we're diving into something that sounds easy, but isn't. How to say no politely.
Yeah, because let's be honest, saying no in English can feel like walking on eggshells.
Exactly. You want to sound confident, but not rude. Polite, but not weak. That balance is tricky, right?
So tricky, especially when English isn't your first language, because tone, word choice, even pauses, they all matter.
You might think, oh, I'll just say no thanks, but depending on the situation, that could sound a little too short or cold.
Right. Imagine your boss says, "Can you take on another project?" And you go, "No, thanks." That's not going to end well.
Yeah, you might not get another project ever again.
So today we'll explore how to refuse, decline, or disagree in a way that's clear but still kind. Because being polite doesn't mean being a pushover.
Nicely said. And if you're liking what you hear, hit that like button and subscribe to join us for more.
And tell us in the comments, what kind of English situations do you struggle with most? We might feature your idea in the next episode.
Now, settle in, maybe grab a notebook or just relax with your headphones on, and let's ease into today's English journey together.
Okay, let's picture this. You're in a meeting, and someone suggests an idea that you just don't agree with. How do you say no without making things awkward?
Great example. The key is to soften your no. In English, we rarely go straight to I disagree. Instead, we build a little cushion around it.
Like, I see your point, but I'm not sure it would work for us.
Exactly. You acknowledge the other person first, then gently add your perspective. That's both polite and professional.
Here's another one. That's an interesting idea, but maybe we could also consider...
Perfect. Notice how Elise used maybe and also consider. Those little softeners keep your tone friendly.
So it's not, no, that's wrong. It's, that's interesting, but maybe we could try another way.
Much better. That's how to say no while sounding like a team player.
Let's do a mini role play, okay? I'll be the boss, you be the employee.
Uh-oh. Am I in trouble already?
Not yet. Okay. Nico, could you stay late tonight to finish the report?
I'd really like to help, but I already promised my family I'd be home tonight. Could we find another way to get it done?
That's great. You said no and offered a solution. You didn't just refuse, you stayed professional.
That's the key. English speakers love when you balance honesty with helpfulness.
Yeah, it's not just about the word no, it's about what comes before and after it.
Exactly. If you only say no, it sounds final and harsh. But if you add context like, I'd love to, but, or I really appreciate the offer, however, it softens the message.
And that makes people respect you even more because you sound thoughtful.
Let's practice another situation, this time with a friend.
Okay. Your friend says, "Hey, want to go out this weekend?" But you're busy or just not in the mood.
We've all been there. You could say, I'd love to, but I've got a lot on my plate this weekend. How about next time?
That's such a friendly way to say no. You're not rejecting them, you're just explaining your situation.
Exactly. The word but is powerful, but the second half of your sentence is what really matters. How about next time keeps the connection alive?
That's such a good point because saying no doesn't mean shutting the door. It's about keeping communication open.
Absolutely. In English, relationship building is part of every negotiation, even small ones like this.
You know what helps too? Using expressions like, "I'm afraid I can't," or "Unfortunately, that's not possible."
Yes, they sound gentle but firm. Let's try a few examples for our listeners to repeat.
"I'm afraid I can't join the meeting tomorrow."
Unfortunately, I won't be able to agree to those terms.
That might be difficult for us at the moment.
And my favorite, I really appreciate your offer, but I'll have to pass this time.
That one's so polite. You can even use it socially, like, thanks for inviting me, but I'll have to pass this time.
Yeah, it's warm and natural. You don't sound cold or robotic.
Let's talk about tone for a second, because how you say these phrases matters as much as the words themselves.
Exactly. If you say, I'm afraid I can't, too quickly or flatly, it can sound uninterested.
So slow down a bit, soften your tone, maybe smile. Your voice should rise gently at the end. It signals kindness.
Great tip. Politeness in English isn't just grammar, it's rhythm and melody.
Like music.
Yes, and if your tone sings, people hear your intention even before they process your words.
Okay, one last mini role play. You ready?
Always.
You're a manager. I'm your client asking for a big discount. Can you give us 40% off?
I understand why you'd ask that. Everyone's looking for the best deal. But I'm afraid that discount isn't possible right now. What I can do is extend your service period by 2 months.
Oh, that's smooth. You said no and offered value.
That's the trick. In negotiation, no doesn't mean stop. It means redirect.
That's such a good quote. I'm going to remember that.
Write it in your notebook. No means redirect.
So, to wrap up this first section, remember these 3 steps when you need to say no politely. Acknowledge the other person, show you heard them. Explain briefly, add context or a reason. Redirect or offer an alternative.
And if you can smile while saying it, even better.
Exactly, because politeness isn't just words, it's energy.
That's right. A warm tone can make even a no sound like a thank you.
That's poetic, Nico.
I try.
Coming up next, we'll talk about finding common ground, how to connect with people you're negotiating with so you both walk away happy.
Stay tuned. And remember, a polite no is often the first step to a great yes. So, last time we learned how to say no politely, which is basically an art form in English.
Totally. But now we're moving into the next step, saying yes in a way that builds trust and connection.
Right, because negotiation isn't just about who wins, it's about finding a space where both sides feel heard and respected.
That's what building common ground really means. It's about saying, hey, we might want different things, but we're actually on the same team.
Exactly. And fun fact, English has a lot of little phrases that help you do this naturally.
Oh, like, I completely understand where you're coming from. That one always sounds so kind.
Yes, it's a simple way to say, I get you, without saying, I agree.
Let's imagine this. You're in a meeting and someone's idea isn't bad, but it doesn't totally work for you.
Okay, so instead of saying, I disagree, you could say something like, I see what you mean, and maybe we can combine that with...
That's so much smoother. You acknowledge them first. It's like emotionally saying, I'm with you.
Exactly. That, and maybe we can phrase, keeps the conversation going forward. It sounds collaborative.
English speakers love this kind of teamwork language, right?
Yes, it shows flexibility. If you say, that won't work, the conversation stops. But if you say, what if we try both ideas? That's where the magic happens.
So it's not just about agreement, it's about respect and curiosity.
Nicely put. You don't need to agree to build common ground. You just need to listen like you care.
Let's play a quick round of soft disagreement.
Oh, that sounds like something out of a language game show.
Okay, ready? I'll give you a sentence and you find a gentle way to disagree.
Challenge accepted.
I think the price should be double.
That's an interesting idea. Maybe we can look at the budget first before deciding.
Nice! Not a direct no, but still holding your position. Okay, next. Let's skip the meeting tomorrow.
I totally get that meetings can feel long, but this one might help us stay on track.
Wow, smooth. You sound like a diplomat.
Years of practice, my friend.
Here's a cool phrase for our listeners. Find a middle ground.
Yes, that's what this section is all about. It means finding a solution that makes everyone a little happy.
Like, if you want a raise of 10%, but your boss offers 5%, you can say, could we meet in the middle at 7%?
That's perfect English for real-life negotiation. Meet in the middle sounds friendly, not demanding.
And that's the difference between sounding persuasive and sounding pushy.
Exactly. In English, tone and cooperation always beat aggression.
Speaking of tone, there's another trick to building connection. Mirroring.
Ah, yes, that's when you subtly reflect someone's words or feelings back to them.
Like, if someone says, I'm worried about the timing, you can say, I completely understand. Timing is really important.
That repetition builds trust instantly. It tells them, I'm listening to you.
Yeah, it's like giving them a verbal nod.
A verbal nod. I love that.
But of course, don't overdo it or you'll sound like a parrot.
Timing is important. Yes, timing is important. Timing, yes.
Okay, not like that. Keep it natural.
Let's do a short role play for our learners, a friendly business negotiation.
Sure, I'll be the buyer, you be the seller.
Deal.
Nico, your proposal looks great, but the delivery time seems too long.
I understand your concern. Time is crucial. What if we shorten it by 1 week and keep the same quality?
That's excellent. You didn't argue, you empathized first.
Exactly. When you say, I understand your concern, you turn a complaint into a connection.
Let's do one more. Nico, I'm not sure your solution fits our needs.
I completely get that. Every team is different. Maybe we can walk through your priorities together and see what adjustments would help.
Perfect! You're moving from disagreement to collaboration.
That's the spirit of negotiation, turning opposite sides into partners.
Here's something culturally that might surprise our listeners.
Oh, I know what you're going to say. Directness.
Yep, in many cultures, being direct shows honesty. But in English-speaking business, especially in the UK or US, being too direct can seem confrontational.
That's so true. That's why phrases like, I see your point, or that's a good question are so important. They show respect even when you disagree.
It's not fake politeness, it's cultural politeness.
Well said. And it creates emotional safety. People open up more when they feel respected.
You know, this reminds me of something that happened to me last year.
Oh, story time.
Okay, ready? I was working on a project with a British client, and I thought everything was fine. Then one day he said, "That's quite interesting."
Uh-oh, listeners, take note. In British English, quite interesting can actually mean I don't like it.
Exactly. I found out later that it was his polite way of saying no.
That's such a perfect example of hidden meaning in polite English.
Yeah, so now I always ask gently, oh, do you mean interesting in a good way or a different way?
Smart move. That's called checking understanding, and it's great for building clarity and connection.
So before we wrap this up, what's one phrase every learner should remember from this section?
I'd say, I understand your point. Maybe we can find a middle ground.
That's gold. It works in business, friendships, even family discussions.
Yeah, I used it once with my niece when she wanted pizza for breakfast.
And?
We met in the middle, toast with cheese.
That's brilliant.
So remember, listeners, connection first, persuasion second.
Because people rarely say yes to ideas. They say yes to people.
Exactly. And up next, we'll dive into how to make your language sound more persuasive, not forceful, just naturally convincing.
Can't wait. This is where your English becomes your superpower.
Okay, so far we've said polite no's and built common ground. Now it's time for the fun part. How to actually get people to agree with you.
Persuasion, the magic of making people say yes without them even realizing it.
That sounds a bit sneaky, but in English, persuasion isn't manipulation. It's about presenting ideas clearly and confidently so people see value in what you're saying.
Exactly. It's confidence with kindness. You're not forcing anyone, you're guiding them.
Right. And there are a few language tricks that make that guidance sound natural, not pushy.
Oh, I love these parts, the little English secrets. Okay, what's the first one?
Soft power words. Things like perhaps, maybe. It might be a good idea if.
So instead of saying, we should change the plan, you could say, maybe we could look at a few adjustments to the plan.
Exactly. Same idea, softer delivery. That makes people more open to your suggestion.
Here's another phrase I love. What if we...
Yes, that's gold. It invites people into the conversation. It sounds like teamwork.
Like, what if we try a different approach? Or what if we add one more feature?
Right. And because it's a question, it doesn't sound like you're ordering anyone around.
I use it all the time in meetings. It sounds confident and polite.
Exactly. It's the difference between do this and what if we tried this? One is a command, the other is collaboration.
And people respond much better to collaboration. Let's do a little role play for our listeners. You be the negotiator trying to convince me to extend a deadline.
Okay, game on.
Nico, I really need this project by Friday.
I totally understand how important the deadline is. What if we extend it to Monday so we can ensure top quality?
That's perfect. You acknowledged my need, then offered a benefit, top quality.
Exactly. When persuading, don't just say what you want, say how it helps them.
So it's not, I need more time, it's, we'll deliver a stronger result.
Bingo. Always frame your message around mutual benefit.
Here's another useful structure. If we, then we can.
Yes, conditional persuasion. It shows logic and benefit.
Like, if we add one more week, then we can include the new design.
That's so professional. You sound solution-oriented.
I like that phrase, solution-oriented. It's persuasive because it feels positive.
Exactly. No one likes complaints, but everyone likes progress.
True. Complaints make people defensive, solutions make them curious. There's also something about tone that really changes persuasion.
Definitely. Calm and steady wins the game. If you sound desperate or too excited, it feels forced.
Yeah, like, please, please agree doesn't sound confident.
Not at all. But if you say, I believe this will bring great results, it's strong without pressure.
So confidence, not begging.
Exactly. Confidence invites respect. Pressure invites resistance.
Let's talk about emotional persuasion. Not in a dramatic way, but how emotions can help your English sound more human.
Good point. English speakers often use phrases that show understanding or enthusiasm to connect emotionally.
Like, I totally get why you'd want that. Or, that sounds exciting, doesn't it?
Yeah, those little touches make your language warm, not robotic.
It's kind of like smiling through your words.
Exactly. You can hear a smile in someone's voice, even if you don't see them.
Another tip I've learned from business English is use the phrase, from my perspective.
Oh yes, that's a classic. It's persuasive because it sounds humble, not bossy.
So instead of saying, that's wrong, you say, from my perspective, we might try another route.
See? It softens your opinion while still expressing it clearly.
I like that it gives you space to disagree respectfully.
And it invites dialogue, not argument.
Right. It's like saying, here's my view, what's yours?
Exactly. That's what makes English persuasive. It's about invitation, not imposition.
You know what else helps? Telling mini stories.
Oh yes. Storytelling is the secret sauce of persuasion.
Because when you say, let me share what happened with another client, people instantly pay attention.
Right. It's relatable. And it shifts from abstract talk to something real.
So it's not, we should invest more in marketing. It's, one of our projects saw a 30% boost when we invested more in marketing.
Snap. Perfect. Real example, real results.
Let's do another quick role play. This time, you're convincing me to choose your design proposal.
Okay. Elisa, from my perspective, this design captures both modern style and simplicity. What if we test it with a small group first? That way we can be confident before launching.
That's fantastic. You used perspective, suggestion, and benefit all in one sentence.
And it didn't sound forceful, right?
Not at all. It sounded smart and confident.
So, to summarize this section, persuasion in English comes down to a few golden habits. Use soft, power words like maybe, perhaps, and what if. Always highlight benefits, not demands. Use calm, confident tone, not pressure. Add emotion or small stories to connect.
And remember, the goal isn't to win. It's to help the other person see your point clearly.
Exactly. When your listener feels respected and included, persuasion happens naturally.
So true. It's like dancing, not wrestling.
That's my favorite line of the day.
Okay. Put that on a t-shirt. Persuasion is dancing, not wrestling.
Coming up next, we'll explore what to do when things get tough, how to stay calm under pressure, and respond to counteroffers without losing your cool.
Oh, that's going to be so useful because real negotiations aren't always smooth.
Yep, and that's where emotional control becomes your best English skill. Okay, so far we've talked about building connection and sounding persuasive. But what about when things get tough?
You mean when the other person pushes back or gives you a counteroffer?
Exactly. Like you make your proposal and they say, can you lower the price, or that's not good enough?
That's the moment when many people panic, especially in English. They either agree too quickly or sound defensive.
Yeah. The trick is to stay calm, take a breath, and use diplomatic language, words that buy you time and keep things friendly.
Let's go through a few examples. Imagine someone says, "That's too expensive." You could respond with, "I understand your concern. May I explain what's included in that price?" Or, "Let's see if there's some flexibility on both sides." Or, "I see where you're coming from. What budget range did you have in mind?"
I love that. Each one shows empathy and control. You're not surrendering, you're guiding the talk forward.
Exactly. You don't have to give in immediately. The goal is to keep the conversation open.
Here's a pro tip. Silence is powerful.
Totally. If someone gives you a tough offer, don't rush to fill the silence. Take 2 seconds to think.
Those few seconds make you seem confident and thoughtful, not desperate.
Right, because in negotiation, hesitation can look weak, but a calm pause looks strong. Let's do a mini role play so our listeners can hear how it sounds. I'll be the client again, and you're the service provider.
Ready when you are.
Okay, Nico, your proposal looks good, but honestly, $500 is higher than what others are offering.
I understand. Quality does come at a price. Could I explain what makes this package different?
Sure.
Well, it includes full support after delivery and 2 free revisions. Many cheaper options don't offer that.
That's fair. But could you maybe do $450?
I appreciate that offer. How about we meet in the middle? $475. And I'll make sure your project gets top priority.
Deal. That sounds reasonable. So what did Nico do right there? He didn't panic or say no immediately. He explained his value clearly,
And then he suggested a middle point politely.
Yep, and I used soft phrases like, I appreciate that offer, and how about we meet in the middle? They sound cooperative, not stubborn.
That's what makes it feel like teamwork instead of competition. Key vocabulary and tone tips. Nico, let's drop a few tone tips before we wrap up this part.
Okay. Use words like perhaps, maybe, and I understand. They soften your replies. Avoid words like no way, impossible, or that's wrong. They sound aggressive.
Exactly. When you sound calm, the other person feels calm too.
And that's the secret. Stay cool under pressure.
You don't have to win every negotiation. You just have to keep it respectful and productive.
Nicely said. And when you do that, you gain something even better than money. Trust. All right, so we've been through the whole journey from saying no politely to handling pressure like pros. But now comes the grand finale, closing the deal.
Exactly. Because even if you're great at negotiating, if you don't close it well, things can fall apart.
Yeah, sometimes people feel awkward at the end. They're not sure how to say, okay, let's finalize this, or they rush it and sound too pushy.
Right. The key here is to sound confident, clear, and positive, like you're confirming success, not forcing it.
Let's give our listeners some ready-to-use lines. Here are a few. So, just to confirm, we're agreeing on, it seems we're on the same page about. I'm glad we could find a solution that works for both of us. I'll send over the details shortly.
Those are perfect for business deals, but even in everyday life, like agreeing on rent, freelance rates, or event plans, they sound polished and friendly.
Yeah. And one of my favorites is, let's put that in writing so we're all clear. That phrase sounds professional, but not cold.
True. And if you want to leave a good impression, finish with something warm, like, it's been great working this out with you. I'm looking forward to collaborating.
The psychology of graceful closings. There's a psychological trick here, too. People remember the end of a conversation more than the beginning. So if you close kindly, they'll think the whole experience was positive.
Exactly. That's called the recency effect. The last thing you say leaves a lasting emotional tone.
So even if the negotiation was tough, you can end on a high note, like, I really appreciate your flexibility today.
Or, thanks for taking the time to discuss everything so openly. Those phrases rebuild any tension that may have happened earlier.
Mini role play.
Let's do a short example. I'll be the client and you're the freelance designer, okay?
Deal. Go ahead.
So, Nico, I think $450 for the project sounds fair, but can you include 2 extra revisions?
I can agree to 1 extra revision for that price, but if we add a second, I'd need to adjust the total slightly.
All right, let's go with 1 extra revision.
Great. So just to confirm, we're agreeing on $450 with 1 extra revision included?
Yes, that's right.
Perfect. I'll send over the updated agreement in a few minutes. Thanks again. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, too. I'm glad we could find a middle ground. See, that sounded polite, confident, and natural.
And notice how I restated the agreement clearly. That helps prevent misunderstandings.
Plus, both sides ended on a friendly note. That's how you build long-term trust.
Key takeaways. So, let's summarize what we've learned in this episode about negotiation in English. 1. Be polite but firm. Balance empathy with confidence. 2. Use softeners and confirming phrases to sound professional. 3. Handle pressure calmly. Think before you reply. 4. Close positively. Confirm the deal and show appreciation.
Exactly. Negotiation isn't about winning. It's about understanding, communicating clearly, and maintaining respect. In English and in life.
Nicely said.
Thanks, Nico. And to our listeners, next time you're negotiating, remember, your words are your power. Choose them wisely.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Talk Smart English.
Don't forget to follow, review, and share if you found this helpful.
Both?
See you
next time.